You know you have left behind the land of humans when you see no soul around, and you know you have entered the land of roars and trumpets when you see deer flying around. Hello wildlife lovers, and welcome to our second episode of Dhikala series 2022. This series is from our summer experience in Dhikala, and we promise you that in this series there will be some breathtaking animal shots, some shivering wild stories, and lots of useful information about Jim Corbett National Park. So let's begin our episode 2. As you can all see, we are on the road to Dhikala, the 30-kilometer stretch from the Dhangari gate near Ramnagar. You remember your childhood days when the clock used to hit 5 p.m. and we used to run out of our homes to play with our friends? The excitement that made you forget everything, basically the worry-free life, Hakuna Matata life. So that is exactly what we feel right now. The moment the forest guard says go from the Dhangari gate, our Hakuna Matata life starts. Along with any plastic bags, we left all our stress and tensions, our office work and our family problems, our financial health and fitness regime behind us. We have said this before, but let us repeat. The moment you leave Dhangari gate, you have entered the jungle. The jungle rules must be followed right away. You cannot get down on this road. You cannot make noise or throw any garbage outside your vehicle. The next stop you would get is directly at the Forest Rest House campus you have booked. A lot of people have encountered leopards and sloth bears on this road, and the area also falls under the territory of many wild tigers. This is the unique thing about Indian jungles. Because the forests are evergreen and dense, you don't see the wildlife that easily. And that's why a lot of people feel that there aren't any big cats here. But remember, you might see a tiger just once, or maybe not even that, but the tiger has already seen you 100 times. Anyway, the 30 kilometers of stretch is over, and so is my lecture on wildlife. After around 1 hour and 45 minutes of driving round and round across the mountains, valleys, and rivers, we finally arrived at the Dhikala grasslands of Jim Corbett National Park. If you see both sides, you see less dense grass and can also note the black soil. That black soil is the ashes, and the grasslands look clean because the forest department burns down the grass after winters. And finally, around 1 p.m., we entered the Dhikala campus. You see all these jeeps on the left. This is an indication that we are not late and that the evening safari has not begun yet. You must target to reach Dhangari gate by 11:45 so that you are here in time for the first safari. 15 minutes would go at the Dhangari gate for verifying permit and around 15 to 20 minutes here for the check-in and all. If you plan to visit the museum, take extra 30 minutes and reach there by 11ish. Our room this time was a different one from last time. This was one of the older rooms and hence the walls were worn out. When we reached, there was no power. So another advice is to charge your cameras and come. Also carry a power bank if possible. This room had a great view of the Ramganga river. In the night, if you just pull across the curtains and keep the windows open, you can feel fresh cold oxygen purifying your lungs. Just imagine with this visibility and light, if a tiger comes out, how phenomenal the sighting would be. In the last 30 minutes, we checked into our room, freshened up real quick, checked the batteries of our gadgets, picked up the beanbag, and got ready for safari number 1. Because this was March, we did not carry a lot of winter attire. Just one jacket for early morning was more than enough. It is always better to travel with less clothes and belongings, reduces the risk of losing something, and also makes our life easier with the already heavy filming gear. And there goes the Battalion of the Wild, an army which is driven by one common motivation: finding the tiger. History has it that the most difficult thing in the world is to unite people with one objective, but in the wild, it comes out naturally. Of course, there is competition among the tourists, but the driving force remains the same. The law of diminishing marginal utility says that with each unit of consumption, the value of something goes down. But that's not true for tiger sighting. No matter how many times you see one, it's just not enough. So the first area we checked was of course our favorite one. Can you guess where we are headed to? If you have been to Dhikala, this is not hard to guess. If you have not, we are headed to the Sambar Road area. This is an elevated area near the banks of Ramganga river, from where the view of the banks and the nearby grasslands is better. Dhikala has been rocking this season since December. There are lots of tigers here currently. There are the bold cubs of Grassland Valley, 2 males and 1 female. And then there are Paro's daughters. So a lot of exciting things happening here with these new cubs growing up. And because the territory of tigers overlap, you can expect to see multiple tigers in one safari. But as we reached the Sambar Road, we saw the first set of wild elephants. Finding them at the banks of the river reminded us of our first wild elephant sighting in Dhikala. In 2018, we first came to Dhikala on a canter with our family. We did not know much about Dhikala back then, so everything was a blessing. Till today, we have come to Dhikala multiple times but never got a beautiful sighting like this one ever. Look closely and find the young ones. How adorable that baby is. Not even sure how many days or even hours old he is, but the imprint of this sighting is still there in our memories. First ones are always special. What was your first experience in the wild? Share with us in the comments below. Okay, so no movement at Sambar Road. We moved further. Our guide this time was Mr. Deepak, and he is another one of the treasures of Corbett we found on this trip. Not only is he dedicated, but also knowledgeable about the jungle. And more importantly so, his tuning with our driver Harish was great, which made our experience even more thrilling. They would know where to look for, where not to waste time, and where to place the jeep for the best pictures. If you want to go with either of these, you can book them in advance. They do not charge a lot of extra money, and rather than going on 6 safaris with random guides and drivers, it is better to go on 4 with experienced ones. So let us know if you need their contact details. So we kept moving and moving and moving. We checked everywhere in the jungle, but there was no movement. To be honest, the first safaris are jinxed a lot of times because you come all the way from your hometown and enter the jungle after a few months. You have so high expectations. But what could we do? As our driver Harish says, जंगल उसका है सर, गेस्ट आप हैं, उसकी मर्जी होगी वो दिखेगा, उसकी मर्जी नहीं होगी तो कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता. बट शायद आज उसकी मर्जी थी. A little further near the bridge, in the grasslands, we found a lone jackal, the scavengers of the jungle. And as we noticed his behavior carefully, we found something strange. Jackals feed on dead remains of the wild, left over by tigers and other predators. Sometimes they also try to steal the tiger kill when the tiger is not around. A part of the dog family, jackals also rely on their sense of smell to find food, and this one did the same. He used the wind movement to detect any foul smell of a dead animal. Maybe he could lead us somewhere, and so we decided to wait and observe him. He closed his eyes and took in the powerful air. Come on, Jackie, help us get there. Is there a kill around we cannot smell? Is there a tiger around we cannot see? With his confidence, it seemed like there is no tiger around, but the jungle can deceive anyone. If all confident animals are right about tiger's presence, how will the tiger ever be able to ambush? Our guide called other guides to ask and nobody had any good news to share. So our best chance was here. We either leave to campus empty-handed or can get very lucky. And the tables turned quickly. Suddenly, we started hearing chittal deer alarm calls, and the jackal led us to the tiger kill. Now look and see if you can find a spotted deer's partially eaten remains. There is a leg and a part of the rib cage.